Most people call it running away, reckless, or flaky. I call it knowing when you're done. If you're watching this, you already know what I'm talking about, and you've known for a while. I left a 13-year university career, a 6-year marriage, a toxic relationship, and my most recent job. And when my manager texted me after I left, I didn't respond. Not because I'm bitter, but because there's nothing else to say. I don't have the network I could have at my age, but I also don't have the baggage. So let's talk about what it looks like to walk away from things that no longer serve you and trust that the woman you've become knows the difference. If you're watching this, then you already know. You've been feeling the signs for a while and noticing them, but maybe trying to ignore them. You've been rationalizing why you should stay in your situation, why it makes sense to stay put. And you've been afraid of change. And that's all normal. But I'm here to give you permission to do what actually feels right for you and to move on if that's the next step. So I was reflecting recently because I've walked away and left a lot of things. I left a 13-year university career where I was well respected. I did a lot of good, but between burnout and most of my immediate family dying in the space of a couple years, I just knew I had to walk away. And I gave 3 months notice. I did it the right way. But when I left, I didn't look back. And around that same time, I left a 6-year marriage. He was a good guy, but we just really weren't aligned spiritually, philosophically, physically. And I really tried to make it work. I did, I offered counseling, hypnosis, medical testing, like whatever it was going to take to try to make it work. I didn't want to move on, just like the rest of you. I wanted to be comfortable and stay exactly where I was. Like if that would have worked out, that was what I was. That's why I got married. I planned for it to work out. But when none of those things worked, I had to leave. And then I left a toxic relationship, and that was really hard. Also thought that relationship was going to work out, but like any narcissist, it became increasingly combative and difficult. And at the point that my life was in danger, I left to a domestic violence shelter and left everything behind. So I know what it is to walk away, and I know how scary it can be. And most recently, I left my job that I'd been at for just over a year. I was doing very well, but I was deeply dissatisfied, not just with the work, but the working situation, the conditions. And so I just left. And I didn't feel the need to justify it to anyone. After I quit my job, my manager texted me and wanted to set up a call, I guess to see if he could talk me into coming back. And I just never responded. I thought, what's the point? There's nothing to say. He's not going to change. The situation's not going to change. It's just a bunch of wasted effort. And really, what I've realized from walking away from so many things is that there is the straw that breaks the camel's back. And whether you realize it or not, sometimes there's an invisible line in the sand that once it's crossed, you're ready to go. You're ready to move on. And that's what happened to me. So I didn't respond to his text, not because I'm bitter. I'm not angry. I just recognize what is, and there's no point to investing any other energy in it. And the truth is, nobody would understand. But I want to be honest with you. I don't have the network that I could have at 52, but I also don't have the baggage. There is a price to pay for walking away. And you have to really sit with that to decide if you're ready to deal with the consequences of walking away. And in all those situations and my most recent job, I decided it was worth it to me. But it is a real cost. I'm in the middle of a job search and I should be tapping my network. Everyone says, like, use your network, but I don't have one. I'm in a completely different part of the country, don't know people here yet, and I just walked away from my last job without responding to the manager. he wasn't going to be a reference for me anyway. But yeah, there is a price to pay. So you got to get comfortable with that. And I did think it all through because I've done this before. So think it through and see if you're willing to live with the repercussions of following what your intuition is telling you, what you feel in your heart. So there's a few ways that you can know if you're done. And one of the things that showed up for me was I just felt drained. I had actually already gotten past the initial like resistance of feeling things come up, and honestly, like having feelings of how badly I wanted to quit and fantasizing about it. I stuffed those down over and over again. So that wasn't even on the surface anymore. But what I felt was drained. What I felt was it was so hard to get up and go to that job and keep doing it because I just felt the aimlessness of it for me, the meaninglessness of it for me. And that's based on my passion and desire for helping people, which is what I spent my whole career doing. And I just didn't feel like I was having the opportunity to do that there. Feeling exhaustion that runs deep and feels unexplained could be one of the signs that you're ready to go. And the other way that I knew I was ready to go was because I looked around. I was like, there's no room for growth. Like there literally was no room for growth. It was a contract position. And what they do is they just renew people's contracts every year infinitely, but with no raise, no opportunity for growth or advancement. So that was a big sign for me. And think about it in terms of what you're going through. Is there an opportunity for growth in the situation that you're in and the one that's bothering you or that you're contemplating? And also, is there an opportunity to show up as your best self? Like, does the situation allow you to show up as your best self? In the job I was in, I found myself suppressing my natural, like, really friendly tendencies, my compassion. I could show a little here and there, but frankly, it wasn't the place for it. Nobody wanted it. And it's one of my biggest gifts. So I felt really stifled energetically and spiritually. But I'll tell you the big thing to look for is what your gut says. Do a gut check. Like your intuition will tell you if you need to go, if you need to move on. You know deep down inside if it's time to move on. And so check in with yourself. And sometimes it can be hard to tell, like what is my intuition really saying? But one of the ways to think about it is to give yourself the space to think, okay, what would I do if there were no consequences? That doesn't mean you need to act as if there's no consequences, but allows you to like go deeper and to see what you're really thinking without the blocks of all the consequences and challenges of the situation. And one of the other things that I do a lot with myself and I suggest to others is imagine what you would tell a close friend to do. Like if your close friend came to you with this situation, what would you tell them to do? That'll give you some insight as far as the best advice that you can take for yourself. So there are costs to walking away, but there's definitely benefits because I don't have the baggage of all those situations and people. I have a really hard time being fake. So I don't have to keep in touch with all these people that I really don't care about. Sorry to say that. But it's liberating. Like I don't want to keep in touch with these people. I don't care about them. They don't care about the things I care about. They don't care about me either. Um, yeah, I get it. Like everybody's trying to be friendly and nice. That's nice. But really, I only have space in my life for so many people. And if it's not a deep, sincere relationship, it's not for me. So I'm free of all that baggage. So think it through. See if you're willing to pay the price, if you can deal with the consequences. Run that through your worst case scenario mindset and realize there could also be a best case scenario, that leaving could be wonderful for you and change your life for the better, which I feel like in every situation that I left, it's definitely done that and allowed my growth. But I want to hear from you. What is it that you are holding on to, but you know deep down you need to leave? Please share it in the comments. And if you like this video, then please like, subscribe, and share. And I'll talk to you soon.